Well, you know, no? Okay, so I do cinema. I'm a film director and I make films. Oof, that is wow. It could take me days. For me, the cinema is just another form of expression, another artistic form of expression. So if I was not a filmmaker, I would have been a painter, or maybe contemporary artist, or maybe a writer, or maybe a circusant. Work in a circus. So really, it is. Um, it is. I don't know how. I guess we are all predisposed to certain fields. And me, I actually tried many different things. I started as an actress when I was little. I was a child actor. I did a lot of radio drama at that moment, a lot of television. This was in the time of ex-Yugoslavia. Then I started doing painting. I went to art school. Then I did photography, and on the end, commercial art, meaning advertising, publicité. I worked in this field a few years as an art director, and then I decided that actually cinema was the thing for me to do. My road is peculiar in a way that I probably wanted to do cinema right away. But being a woman and coming from the Balkans, I did not dare. So it took me a long time to have the courage and to say to myself that, I'm ready to lance myself in what I believe I can excel most, and to basically give myself the right to be a filmmaker, as a woman. So I know it sounds maybe for I must mention here, when I started making films, it was my first film is 17, 18 years ago. But when I decided this, I was 26, so 20 years ago, to go to graduate school and to study cinema. So yes, it took me, I would say 8 years to have the courage. Yes, but when I say it's peculiar, because what I think is that I hope that girls today don't have the same troubles that my generations had. And I think this is important. You should never underestimate your value or what you are capable of. And unfortunately, at one moment of my life, that was the case. Having in mind that I come from an artistic family, very encouraging, they're the most open people you can think of, but still we are creatures of our society and of our surrounding, and growing up in a patriarchal structure that is still surrounding us. Yes, it was the case, yes. Yes, actually, I did most of all of my studies in the United States. I did the last year of high school. I did university, college, and then I did graduate school. So university in Philadelphia and graduate school in New York. I actually did not start it. When I was at school, the second year of NYU grad, where I went and studied school cinema, I made a film called Veta, which went to Berlinale and won a prize. So all of a sudden, I was the hot new talent on the New York independent scene. So I was called by all these producers to sort of everybody was asking me, okay, what is your feature film? Do you have a script? And I had a script. So I had few producers read it, and they said to me, it's great, but it's happening in Macedonia. Could we make it here? And I had this kind of the same type of talk with few of them. And at this moment, I realized that actually I have to return home and make my film, because uh, cinema is so specific. You can't shoot a Macedonian story in English. And of course, our attitudes and the attitudes of the industry have changed along the years. Today, nobody would dare to say that. But 20 years ago, actually 18 years ago, that was sort of the issue. So yes, this is when I went back to Macedonia and made my first feature film. I went to NYU grad, Tisch School of Art. So it's it is graduate school for cinema. And it's a 3-year program. And they only accept people who have already finished university in something, and also have some career experience. So basically, they are looking for maturity. So basically, when I went there, I knew what I want to do and what I want to be. There was no question in mind. I was not, when I came out of there, I was 28, so 29. So there was no doubt in my mind, in which direction I want to go. So yeah, that is a question of maturity. It is, and my pathway. As I said, I tried so many different aspects of the different art forms, different forms of expression, and I came upon cinema as something that I found can complete me most entirely. And why? Because actually, within cinema involves everything. Cinema is painting with light. Cinema is music, sound, how you do the sound design, how do you do a mise en scène. Cinema is dance, cinema is acting, so many aspects. So I found that actually this combination of all these elements so challenging that it was really a challenge for me to tackle, but even before I went to this school. Of course, I mean, now we live in a very exciting time. Now doors are being more and more opened for females in the field. More and more glass ceilings are being broken, although we are not there yet. When I started, it was a disaster. I had to be a truck driver on the set. I had to yell. I had to be masculine. I spent, when I reflect on that time, I would spend much more time to show off, to show that I'm capable, than on directing my actors and doing the mise en scène. I mean, it took me a lot of energy. And at one moment, after the second film, I said, why am I spending all this energy on showing to this, I'm sorry, stupid, macho men that I'm just as good as them, But the thing is that everything was set up like that. Me and my sister, 2 young women of 30 against group of men of 50, we were just not taken seriously. And for example, the main reason why we created our production company, Sisters and Brother Mitevski, was exactly for this reason. When I made Veta, my first short film, first producers in Macedonia didn't want to make the film. I say, but listen, I'm going to one of the best film schools in the world, it's not easy to get in. I must possess something. They were totally not interested, For them, woman on a set, it's hysterical. hysterical "excuse me, bitch," and a woman on the set can do a makeup and costume. Like they were all these preconceived notions. That's how the industry, the machinery was set up. So of course we had to fight through that. You have to, yes, deal with this sort of climb mountains daily, And then we created our production company exactly for this, to have control of what we do, and maybe to be taken more seriously, because the moment you have a production company, my sister came as a producer. Well, you're the one distributing the money, and the money talks, So there are all these things, all these games we had to play in order to exist, and in order not to be taken as imposters, So it is what it was, and it was very unfair. And today there is a lot of questions. I have had maybe thousands of times discussion about 50-50 and about this affirmative action, and people are saying, yes, but many bad films of women are getting out. Maybe we are doing disservice. And actually, you know what? So what? How many men have done bad films, and after that they have done many more bad films. You can't reach equality until you give an equal chance to each and every, and it's simple as that. So I don't want to hear about this kind of interpretation of what is happening at this moment, because what is happening at this moment is extremely important and extremely positive, because also you learn making films by practice, by being given a chance, a possibility, a space where you can express yourself. So girls, go for it. And I always say, I've fought very hard. My road has been very bumpy. I have fought very hard to be where I am and to create the creative freedom and the space that I have created for myself. And I think it is very important, once you reach that, once you have created this creative space for yourself, to open doors to help other women in this case, or minorities, not forget, to help them create space for themselves. So, it is about solidarity, and this must not cease. And it is the only way forward. I think it's even more important to share and create space for others. It is the minimum each of us can do. I think that's the point, because why do we make art? Why do we art, cinema? Why do we make? Yes, to create a more just world for all. So creating space and helping other women express themselves, it's also part of this whole notion. I think what you are referring to is the way we distributed the film in Macedonia, because we don't have really a great network. We don't have so many cinemas. But what has been left from the time of socialism, communism, it is these cultural centers that are all over the country. So basically, we'd open up the film in Skopje, in the capital. And then the bad cop, the Yul Brynner, or in the film Brad Pitt, he came to me and he said to me, Teona, this film must be seen by people around the country. And he has a company that is event company. He makes sort of organizes event. He says, give me the film. I will go to each and every town and make a projection. So basically, what he did every weekend, he would set up a cinema in the cultural center of a small village or a town and have 3-4 projections per day. Very low price, because really the standard of living is very low. And he defended and fought for the film like crazy with such a passion and zest. It was so beautiful, so beautiful. So yes, I don't know, when things are right, forces get together, and yes, and we, in a way, what he did by creating this sort of like alternative kind of distribution, he started a trend in the country that was followed by other filmmakers to distribute the film differently, if you don't have a cinema, you create a cinema. And yes, maybe the sound will not be perfect, but you know, you will deliver certain type of experience and certain type of story that is important to be seen by the rest of the population for a normal, very low price, because usually in the capital the prices of the tickets are so high that not many people can afford to go and see your film. So yes, that was a quite experience. Yes. Well, I have had many, of course. Yeah, you come and you cross the paths of wonderful women and men. But from the beginning, I developed a very deep relationship with Berlinale, with the Berlin Film Festival. Wieland Speck, who was the director of Panorama for many years. So yes, I think in a way Panorama was my biggest supporter. They saved my skin many times, because it was not always easy to make a film. I always had to fight with our Ministry of Culture, with our film fund, for my project to be passed. So every time I put a reference of co-production, yes, the festivals, but also my co-producers. I have developed sort of a team through the years that is actually quite a European team, and of professionals. We call them film technicians, which are creatives, DOPs, sound, etc., makeup, and producers who have really supported me along the way. So when I needed a push in order to get money in Macedonia, my Slovenian producer Daniel, he would talk to the film fund in Slovenia, and they would approve my project before our Macedonian film fund. So then Macedonian film fund sort of has to. So I have had, yes, I've been lucky to have been able to create a sort of a family of film professionals that really are complete product of Europe. That means Belgium, France, Croatia, Slovenia. I mean everything. So it has been yes, it has been quite a journey. So yes, many people. For example, our first film, How to Kill a Saint, we made it for 200,000 euro, and we didn't have money to finish it. My sister, who is an actress, few years before, she made a film with Michael Winterbottom called I Want You. So when we finished the film, we called Andrew, the producer of Michael Winterbottom, and said, "Can you help us find money to finish a film?" Which is the worst thing you do. You don't make a film and you don't have and you dismiss post-production, because it's the most difficult to find money to finish a film. So and Andrew called the producer in France, and this producer became our producer and helped us finish our film. So we have had along the way many people that have, that have come to the rescue. Yeah. I think never accept the status quo. Always, always, always question everything, even when you're sure, or somebody is sure, question. Uh, um, be brave. I think it's very important to be brave, and to. I think it is essential as an artist to go before time. Means as the difficult questions, as the uh, uncomfortable questions, and attack taboos. And I guess to the girls, I would say, don't ever think you are less than any boy out there. So basically, I'm not a writer. I have good ideas, but I have no understanding of, not great understanding of dramaturgical structure. It's not something I studied. I studied directing. So for a long time, I was looking for a collaborator, co-writer, and it's very, very difficult. Like collaborators, creative collaborators is something that happens or it doesn't happen. It is like a relationship. You fall in love with somebody or you don't, and sometimes you can't help it. This higher ground understanding of the soul of your partner or collaborator is something that really you cannot control. So after many years of looking for a collaborator, I by my producer, my sister, she suggested that I try to work with Elma. She's Bosnian, and we were friends before we knew each other, not very big friends, but we knew of each other, etc., etc. And then we started working together, and right away it was a great marriage. So it has this process of collaborating together has made my first my cinema better, because yes, I mean, what is essential to a good film, it is on the end, it is about the story, how the story you're trying to tell, the point you're trying to make, and how you deliver it. So really, the base of every good film is a good story. So with her, all of a sudden, yes, we went into better structuring, etc., etc. What is good about our collaborative experience? It is that I have no idea why or how. Right away, we took our egos aside. And I think that's the only way. Basically, when you are collaborating, it's not about ego. Actually, it never should be about ego, but it is about what is best for the project. So then, by selflessly collaborating to create the best possible piece out of the elements we have, we managed to make the films we have made so far. It is a very enriching process, because once you trust one another, you actually dare to take higher risks in terms of how you deliver a structure of film, etc., etc. And yes, so it is. I've been lucky to have found Elma to be my partner in the crime. Yes, yes. The Petrunia is our second feature film that we co-wrote together. When the day had no name, we wrote before together, and now our new film, The Happiest Man in the World, it's also a collaboration. Totally. But author cinema, it is always author cinema. It is always written by the directors or in collaboration. I've of course there is this cinema that is called command cinema. Somebody gives you a script and you do it, and yes, wonderful. Why not? Nobody has given me a script that is produced to yet, so I don't know what is the experience. But when you are author filmmaker, then you have to have a deeper connection to the story. You have to be there during the process of creation of the story. Even if you don't write it, I think it is very important to be involved on a deeper level as early as possible. Because during the screenwriting, you are basically shaping the characters, and shaping the characters, it is a very delicate job. It is like sort of molding something made of silk, so very easily you can destroy something, but very easily you can make something more beautiful with a very fine touches. So this, what I'm talking about, this is not made overnight, to create a good piece of art, meaningful, to have a meaningful thought. I think a lot of reflection is needed. And by reflection, I also mean going really deep into into the character, into the acts. So I find this process, cinema, it is like, I don't know, like building a pyramid or cathedral, it is such a complex process. So if you don't have the base, which is the script, and you don't understand all the tiny little bit intricacies of the story you're about to tell, I think you might miss things, and you might make something that it's on the surface. And this is how bad cinema gets made.